This episode of Sideline Warning is brought to you by Sport, makers of the original magnetic running pouch. Whether you're biking, running, hiking, or even traveling, the Sport clips to your waistband with magnets for an easy, convenient way to carry what you need without the bulk of belts or bags. Visit theroosport.com and use the code SIDELINE30, all lowercase, for 30% off their entire product line. Again, that's theroosport.com, promo code SIDELINE30. And now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sideline Warning, the show where sports takes are sure to go way too far into the field. Here to recap this week's biggest and best sports stories are your hosts, Dave Adams, Ben Foster, and Adam Russell.
Welcome into Sideline Warning, episode 54, everybody. Hope y'all all were well rested from that Heisman voting, I guess the Army-Navy game. We can't say it was a no football game. But, as always, you've got the one, the only, the golden voice of the Southeast coming to you live and in living color from Harvest, Alabama. That's right, Dave Adams is here with you. And as always, I have brought my friends along all the way down from Birmingham, Alabama, Hollywood, Ben Foster. What's going on, Ben?
Hey, Dave. I'm doing well. I just finished watching Elf, and so that was pretty good.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Yeah, exactly. It has actually started over, so I just saw the narwhal again just a moment ago.
Oh, classic. He's an angry little elf.
So good.
I could probably quote that entire movie. In fact, the year it came out, my cousin was still, younger. I called him a Christmas morning, and he answered the phone and said, "Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?" Of course, him and I just died laughing.
I was a big shocker here. I was going to a concert the other night, and as I was walking in, I saw an older gentleman with a white beard, and he was actually wearing a red coat. And I turned to the person who was with me and went, "Santa! I know him! I know him!"
Oh, wow. Well, somebody else that might know Santa, because I believe he is in the parks where he works. So all the way from the House of Mouse, Mount Dora, Howie and the Hill, Yeehaw Junction, St. Cloud, the phenomenal brother, Adam Joseph Russell.
How are you, Dave?
I am well. Did you like how I called your full name out there?
I did. That was very nice. That's the second time you've used it since we've been on at least our pre-show, and now that's twice. Well, I was trying to look at the TV, figure out what to watch. I actually have it on Chopped, some holiday Chopped on Food Network, because I didn't want to turn it on the Elf movie because I've never seen it.
Oh, that's why I used your full name the first time.
That is why.
Because that movie,
and I felt great shame thrown in my direction that I should be ashamed of myself, and you were amazed that I've never seen it.
I completely am. In fact, okay, before we get into sports talk, because we've got a lot of things we have to cover this week, because this is our bowl extravaganza week.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably going to be our last live show of the season, because next week is our outtake show. The very next week will be our best of show, and then we'll come back and talk bowl games. So let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. Favorite Christmas movie? Ben, Adam?
For me, It's a Wonderful Life.
A Christmas story all the way.
It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is such a good Christmas movie. It's actually in my top 5 of regular movies.
Wow.
It's a good movie, but it's one of those movies that once you've seen once or twice,
I don't agree with that. It's not my favorite. I think it definitely has watchability. I don't know about
it's got
any other
watchability,
time of the year, though.
I've got to watch it at least 2 or 3 times every season.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
But I'll turn on A Christmas Story on the 24-hour thing that TBS or TNT, whoever always does, and it does not turn off all day.
See, that's why it's not my favorite anymore. It was getting up there, but it just got overplayed in my mind. It's funny, but it's not that funny. Best Christmas movie of all time came out in the 1980s, like 1989.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, Dave.
You shut your mouth, but that's not what I was talking about. The best Christmas movie ever is set in the late 80s, early 90s in the suburbs of Chicago. Christmas Vacation?
I do love Christmas Vacation. It's probably my second favorite Christmas movie.
No, The Blessings.
The Blessing.
The Blessing. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Has Gaylord Palms done an ice event themed around Christmas Vacation?
I think they have not. I think it's a Christmas Story this year.
It is a Christmas Story this year. They have not done A Wonderful Life. And they've not done Christmas Vacation, but they've done A Christmas Story.
Okay, Christmas Story is a family-friendly movie. You can't tell me that Christmas Vacation is really a family-friendly movie.
But it would be hilarious at ice.
Oh my God!
It depends what version. If you get the cut for TV version, then there you go. That's kind of family-friendly.
Come on, the cut for TV version at the end when Clark's rant. You can't tell me that you don't supply the real words when TBS or TNT or what used to be Fox Family bleeps it out. Thanks, Adams Company, for buying it out so we don't see Christmas Vacation anymore this year.
Hey, no, Christmas Vacation is on AMC. I'm actually the Family Channel, the former Family Channel, now Freeform, has given up the rights to all of the good Christmas movies. So Elf and Christmas Vacation and a couple of the other good ones have all shifted over to AMC, which is great because I hate watching Freeform for like 1 month out of the year. So they advertise like all of their like teen dramas to me because I don't need to see that. I don't need.
You don't like Bunheads, Ben?
No, I don't know what that is.
The Fosters?
No, I definitely. This Foster does not like the Fosters, and
wow.
And I don't need to know what the Pretty Little Liars are up to. Those are things I don't need to know. They can tell their Pretty Little Lies elsewhere. Just put me on AMC. AMC has been great. I'm getting to watch Buddy the Elf right now jump up and down in a department store. Later, Christmas Vacation Zone. AMC has actually finally become the Christmas channel I've always wanted.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
So you mentioned teen dramas. You're not a fan of teen dramas? What kind of drama are you a fan of, Ben?
Literally any drama other than teen drama.
So what about the drama that comes from a Heisman Trophy presentation? Are you a fan of that kind of drama?
As much as I wanted to believe there was some drama, it seemed to be almost anticlimactic with the Heisman Trophy presentation because the media crowned Kyler Murray the entire week before the trophy presentation, and then he actually ran away with the vote.
Well, no, if you look at it, it really was one of the closer votes. But what shocked me was there were 13 people that didn't have Tua Tagovailoa's name on the list. Now, the list that has been going around is probably a fake one. Like
definitely
you
a
said,
fake one.
Well, I don't
news.
I don't find it hard to believe that there are 3 Heisman voters from the other side of the state that probably left him off.
Well, 3 of them were Auburn. Another 2 or 3 were Oklahoma.
4 were Oklahoma.
Yeah, so I mean, it's easy to make that list. I mean,
yeah,
without being real, but
how can you have a Heisman list and have Tua Tagovailoa not on this list? Because for 11 games a year, 12 games a year, he was the best player in college football. In fact, after the Heisman Trophy, he's won all like AP Player of the Year. He's won all of these awards that the Heisman Trophy winner usually wins.
Do you want to get me on my soapbox, Dave? Because this was it irritates me to no end. That they threw a guy up there that couldn't even pronounce his name. I mean, this is supposed to be some prestigious awards ceremony, and the guy couldn't even say Tagovailoa. I mean, come on.
At that very point, I knew he wasn't going to win.
And then you turn around at that point and they say that the Heisman Award represents perseverance and it represents someone who sticks to it and does all this stuff and all these great words. And really, at the end of the day, it came down to stats. It all came down to stats. A player who was so dominant on offense that he didn't even have to play the fourth quarter ended up at the end of the day getting penalized because he never played in the fourth quarter.
No, he got penalized.
We now know that he was injured on the 4th play.
Right.
Of the SEC championship game, and the fact that he got us back to only down by a touchdown while he was injured that entire time is the very definition of what the Heisman Trophy was supposed to stand for.
Right.
But if now it's just come down to stats, then you tell me how you guys feel after next year. Let's say the same thing were to happen, because he seems really fragile, and I hope Tua gets out of that phase. But let's say next season some other player comes up and throws up ridiculous numbers because he's also on a team whose defense stinks so bad that he requires them to throw 600 yards just to win a game, and Tua gets outed again. What do you guys think about a Heisman house that has no Peyton Manning and no Tua in it?
I mean, that's the world we live in. Peyton Manning didn't deserve to win it. Charles Woodson was the guy that was going to win it in 97. Now, that might be my bias against Satan Manning. I mean Peyton Manning, but Charles Woodson deserved it in 97.
Well, Adam, I agree with all of your points, but I don't have to get up on a soapbox to explain why Tua didn't win. I can sum it up in 3 words. Haters gonna hate. That's what it is. People have got Alabama fatigue, and they don't want to see Alabama cleaning up on awards. And Alabama got a ton of awards, but when it comes to something that gets so much attention like the Heisman, people just didn't want to give Alabama something else. I really think that's what it comes to. And I go, yeah, the Ben's being a cocky Alabama fan. But I really think that's a factor. Also, it didn't do Tua any favors that he was the number 1 leading guy from the second week on, maybe the first week, depending on who you're talking to. There were some people that wanted to say, "Oh, Will Greer's going to look really good," but Tua essentially led from the very beginning of the season all the way until the last week or two of the season, and that's not a good position to be in if you're a Heisman candidate in any season.
No.
The guy that's the front runner most of the year almost never wins.
So let me ask you this, Adam. You got on your soapbox about it should have been Tua because of this, because of that, because of this. Here's my take on it. And the SEC championship game proves this to me. You take Tua off of Alabama, Alabama's still going to Alabama.
Yeah.
Because Jalen made huge strides this year. That was shown in the SEC championship game. You take Kyler Murphy off of Oklahoma, that's a different team. Am I justifying it? Because, yes, Tua was the best player. But if we're saying that it's an MVP award, or we're calling it like the MVP award, like it's turned into, they can say that's about perseverance, it's about this. It's an MVP award now. So if we're going to call it what it is, I hate to say it, Kyler Murray was probably the man that was supposed to win this one this year. Now, down the road, will we look at it like the Charlie Ward Heisman? Probably, because Kyler Murray, unless he is the best athlete to ever play the game of football and baseball, I don't see a guy playing quarterback and baseball. Now, like Bo Jackson could have played outfield and he was a running back, that's doable. But to be a quarterback and a shortstop, that's impossible. I cannot see a guy playing 2 sports that way. So Kyler Murray is locked in to play baseball. So he probably, after this year, he's done with the game of football.
He could be a backup quarterback and play baseball.
He could be.
Yeah. He could, but he probably won't. I mean, the Rangers are still praying that Russell Wilson tries to do that because they still own the rights to him, and that won't happen.
Well, and I don't disagree with your point, Dave. I mean, he is Oklahoma, because when Texas Tech hangs 46 on you, Oklahoma State hangs 47 on you, Kansas hangs 40, West Virginia hangs 56, and Army took you into overtime, your offense has to outscore. And he is the reason that they were able to outscore. But, gentlemen, we've all seen Kyler Murray. And, again, an earlier version of Kyler Murray. We've seen what he does against an SEC defense. And it is nothing like what he does now against a Big 12 defense.
Right. But to your point, we all saw Jalen for 2 years. We all saw what Jalen can do against him.
It's true. It just, for me, for the award, you got a guy like Tua who's hung out with these injuries and stuck through it and led his team. And then you got like Kyler Murray, who's just, for me, I don't like this culture. And we've talked this before on the show, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent on it, but we've talked this culture of transfers and people going to wherever it's best for them and where's the team anymore. And players are now sitting out of bowl games. This player-centric college football culture we find ourselves in today, he's a product of that. And I think when you put him up against Tua, an award like that should go to more Tuas of the world than they would go to Kyler Murray's of the world. Whether or not it was inevitable, it may not have been the MVP award. It may have been something that had to go to him all along. But it just doesn't feel right to me. But
if you say that Alabama would have been just as good or almost as good without Tua, can't you make that same argument about Oklahoma? Because both of these teams made the college football playoff last year. Oklahoma's
right,
still,
but they also had Baker.
Running. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They took a Heisman Trophy guy and replaced him with another Heisman Trophy guy. Maybe it's Lincoln Riley's system. Like if you want to say that Tua did well because he's surrounded by a lot of talent, couldn't you also say Oklahoma's had 2 really good quarterbacks in 2 years because they were surrounded by really good talent and they were surrounded by a really good scheme? I think the fact, like, while it's a good credit to Lincoln Riley to have 2 Heisman winners 2 years in a row, it should actually be a discredit to Kyler Murray that he's winning where Baker Mayfield won the year before. The quarterback's clearly the variable that's interchangeable at Oklahoma. It's the offensive game plan, the lack of defenses you're playing against, and the quarterback is interchangeable. Oklahoma whoever comes in next year could be a Heisman candidate just because they're playing at Oklahoma.
If Kyler hadn't to put up higher than Baker numbers, I would have agreed with you. But the fact that Kyler had to put better numbers than Baker Mayfield, and we thought last year Baker Mayfield's stats were just ungodly. So if Baker Mayfield's stats were ungodly, what were Kyler's stats this year? Because Kyler's stats were just, I can't think of anything worse than ungodly. Unbama-like? I don't know. So I would agree with you if it wasn't for that key stat. Speaking of something about people around you, let's get off the Heisman Trophy because we can beat that horse till it's dead. So let's talk about having great people around you. You know, at the University of Alabama, we have this moniker that says "Built by Bama," and most of the time, a lot of people scoff at that because they say, "Oh, well, there's this. When you get out of Alabama, you're not good in the NFL." Well, gentlemen, we don't normally talk NFL football on this show, but last Sunday, let me just read you this list. So here's a long list of Alabama alums in the NFL. Amari Cooper, 10 receptions, 217 yards, and 3 touchdowns for the resurgent Dallas Cowboys. His name is Julio Jones, 8 receptions, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns for the Falcons. Derrick Henry, who was on my bench of fantasy football this Thursday, 17 carries, 238 yards, 4 touchdowns. Kenyon Drake, the immaculate Miami reception, 6 carries, 24 yards, 1 reception for 55 yards and a touchdown. Mark Ingram, 13 carries, 52 yards, 1 touchdown. Robert Foster, who rarely touched the ball at Alabama, 7 receptions, 104 yards. Cyrus Jones, right? Cyrus Jones, 1 punt return for 55 yards. Kareem Jackson, 11 tackles, 2 pass deflects. Eddie Jackson, 3 pass deflects, 1 interception. Levi Wallace, 6 tackles, 1 pass deflect. Sean Dion Hamilton, 8 tackles. Reggie Ragland, 7 tackles. Dante Hightower, 1 sack. HaHa Clinton-Dix, 7 tackles, 1 pass deflect. Jerron Payne, 5 tackles, 1 sack. Minka Fitzpatrick, 7 tackles. CJ Mosley, 6 tackles, 2 for a loss. Marlon Humphrey, who was horrible in college, 4 tackles. A'Shawn Robinson, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Ronnie Harrison, 5 tackles, 1 pass deflect. Rashawn Evans, 5 tackles. You tell me, is Built by Bama a misnomer?
Not anymore. I just love that both of our teams were the biggest beneficiaries of that day.
I know, except for the fact that I'm loving it as a Titans fan, but I pull up my fantasy football roster and realize that very morning I set Derrick Henry. So
who did you start? Who did you start ahead of Derrick Henry? That's what I'm curious. Who was in the lineup?
It was the Ravens running back.
Who shall remain nameless?
Well, no, because I don't even remember who he was because their normal guy was hurt and he went off this last week. But Derrick Henry was only scheduled to get projected to get 7 points, and I was in the playoffs. I was like, okay, I've got to do something.
He was projected to get 7. How many points did he actually get in your league?
64.8 on my bench.
Wow.
Built by Bama.
Right down the drain.
Built by Bama.
I lost that this week.
Somebody, you know somebody somewhere, not in any of the leagues I'm playing in because they're spread around too much, but somebody somewhere is playing fantasy football this week. Like you, they're in the playoffs, and they have a team that is all Alabama guys,
Yep.
and they dominated.
Could you imagine having Julio and Derrick Henry? Oh, wait, I do. and Derrick Henry was on my bench.
There's somebody that's got that team that's like 3, 4, 5 Alabama players, and they had a really good week. Whoever you are,
Kenyon
congratulations.
Drake, Derrick Henry, Amari Cooper, Julio Jones. I mean, if you drafted AJ McCarron, I'm sorry.
You still could have started AJ on your fantasy team and dominated your week.
I guarantee you they had the Washington Redskins defense.
Yep.
Is there any and we're framing this as NFL talk because all these guys are in the NFL, but to bring it back to college, is there any better recruiting tool than to point to this last Sunday and say, look at this. We will make you successful. We will make you SportsCenter worthy if you come and play for Alabama.
Well, you want to talk about a recruiting tool. What's very funny is the very next day, Alabama flipped the number one safety in the country from Michigan, and they flipped one of the top cornerbacks in the country from Texas A&M. I sent you guys a quote from Saturday Down South this afternoon. I got to pull it up again because it's just amazing. It was an article I was reading, and it said, but even with a wider view, SB Nation notes that 10 of the top 100 nationally ranked on the 247 Sports composite are committed to the Tide. For perspective, the entire Pac-12 combined has 8 of the top 100 recruits. So Alabama alone is out recruiting an entire conference, and it's because the NFL is built by Bama.
Well, just curious, do you guys remember what my sideline warning was last week?
No.
I believe I said on the show the Pac-12 should not be a Power 5 conference anymore.
There you go.
And the recruiting is bearing that out. They are literally being out-recruited by Bama. If Alabama's scooping up that much talent, and like the Pac-12 is not getting that much talent, is it any wonder that Alabama winds up in the college football playoff every year and the Pac-12 hasn't had a team since, what, Oregon 4 years ago?
Yeah. Washington.
Oh, that's right, Washington. When Alabama crushed Washington.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Is it any wonder that's why the college football playoff has been going the way it goes?
No. And
not at all.
And it's the Pac-10 just sucks. The Pac-12 just sucks. Let's just call a spade a spade. I was trying to think of a way to save it, but you can't. Let's just call a spade a spade. So something else that we're good at talking about because Ben likes to talk about it for some reason. Last Sunday, Red Panda was in Coleman Coliseum. Ben, there was also a basketball game going on.
Red Panda was amazing. No, we got you don't want to bury the lead. You want to go with the most significant thing first, and that was Red Panda. Red Panda was phenomenal. It was a fantastic halftime show, and it was just what the doctor ordered. There's only one time where one of the bowls landed a little crooked. She made a slight adjustment. Good to go. Phenomenal show. She finished in front of the student section. The student section was loud, not just for Red Panda, but for the entire game. So it was great to see the student section so engaged, so fired up. And but Red Panda, best halftime show around.
Better than the Lamb family?
Hey, the Lamb family's great, but they're no Red Panda.
Well, they're not all in Tuscaloosa anymore either. So
I am all about some Red Panda. Quite honestly, I think the Super Bowl should cancel whatever musical act they're going to try to do and just do Red Panda for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I think Red Panda is the best halftime entertainment in the world.
Okay, sure.
Am I overstating it?
Yes, kind of. The best halftime show in the world is the $1 Million Band when Catherine Scott was directing it. Come on. And when
I'm talking
golden voice of the Southeast
going right now. I'm talking going right now.
I think that the college football playoff should forego Imagine Dragons and have their halftime show be Red Panda.
By the way, Adam, you shocked me.
Why?
You post this thing about how great this college football playoff halftime show was.
Yeah.
It's like, here we go. It's George Strait. It's Eric Church. It's Zach Brown Band. It's Hamilton. and open it up. I did not picture you as an Imagine Dragons guy.
Oh, I love it, especially when I'm running, man. On my running playlist, they're the best.
Adam.
What?
Adam.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead. No, hang on. Let's see where this one goes. Benjamin, please.
I'm just disappointed. That's all. There's nothing.
What do you like to listen to when you run, Ben?
Exactly. I like to listen to the Sideline Warning podcast.
Oh, there you go.
Because Dave reading all his text messages to me gets me fired up, and it really makes me increase my tempo.
I like them on my Aiden likes them, and I like them on my running playlist. So
okay,
there you go.
All right, so basketball.
It's not Nickelback or anything. Anyway, basketball. Yes.
Let's get to it. Ben, so halftime we were all excited. Alabama was up 39-30. We were up by a lot more than that because Alabama decided they wanted to take the foot off the gas a little bit. We go into halftime. We're excited. Red Panda's on the court. But then Arizona comes and does a 43-37 run and makes this game closer than it should have been. And the only way Alabama wins was with 17-year-old freshman Kyra Lewis Jr. making a three-pointer. How in the world are we going to be excited about this? Now, before you get all upset at me.
Do I look upset?
No, but I feel it coming. I feel the heat coming. So we beat a named team, Arizona. Great. What have they done this year? They were 7-2. Great. But it took a lackluster second half to make our boys really decide to play again. We won. Great. But at what cost?
Didn't cost anything except the expense of bringing in Red Panda, which is always worth the money.
Okay.
Didn't cost anything. At what cost? Nothing.
We didn't finish strong, and that's what I'm saying. If we want to even have a shot against a team like Kentucky, against a team like Tennessee, Auburn, you cannot let your foot off the gas, which it seems like this team is going to do.
Well, in the Arizona game, certainly there have been games this season where Alabama, I would completely agree with you, let their foot off the gas. In the Arizona game, what you saw where the large lead was eroded, that was more a function of Arizona not being able to hit anything in the first half versus them being a much better three-point shooting team in the second half. Arizona essentially had a cold half. They did what we've complained about Alabama doing. They had a half where they couldn't get anything to fall inside or outside, and that's why Alabama was able to build a 19-point lead. That lead being eroded was much more due to Arizona shooting better in the second half than it was to Alabama taking their foot off the gas. Now, of course, let's look. Beating Arizona is a very cool thing. Yeah, this Arizona team is not as good as Arizona teams traditionally are, but it's still a good win. And they're going to be one of the top teams in the Pac-12, even though I've trashed the Pac-12 plenty on this podcast, specifically in this episode. But still beating Arizona is a good thing, and it's a good way to bounce back after a loss in which Alabama gave up a more than 20-point lead to Georgia State. So essentially in 1 week, Alabama had a resume killer and a resume builder, and in both games they gave up 20-point leads. But I think the anatomy of how those leads fell apart was two very different things. In the Arizona game, that was much more due to Arizona just shooting better. The Georgia State game was a completely unacceptable loss. And yes, I brought it up, and I even said it was unacceptable before you got to it. So can I get a thumbs up?
You got a thumbs up, and you took mine like it took yours last week.
Predictive. Well, so, I was go ahead, Dave.
No, I was about to go on another tangent, but Adam, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, looking at the box score, this feels like Alabama versus UCF with the roles reversed. I mean, they took 14 more shots from the floor than we did. 5 more threes. 5 of those were threes. So they took more shots, didn't hit them, and so they lost. But Alabama, again, we hit fewer field goals and made 10 more free throws. I'll say it every week if I have to. That's only going to last us so long. We have to we were only still at 46.4% from the field or from the floor. And so we've got to get better across the board at shooting. We can't rely on those free throws. But this feels just like we did against UCF. We had all the opportunities in the world to beat UCF, but we didn't make the shots when we needed to make them. And Arizona was the same way with this one. So solid win for Alabama. I'm not taking that away. I'm just saying it felt like the roles were reversed from what we were just talking about a couple of weeks ago.
So let me just to the world here. This is my problem with Avery Johnson. So
we've never talked about this before.
I know, right? Who would you rather have as your point guard coming off the bench, Ben, Adam? Let me just read stat lines. 14 minutes, 1 for 3 field goal, 0 for 1 3-point, 0 offensive, 2 defensive rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 foul, 2 points. Or would you rather have 35 minutes, 2 for 5 field goals, 0 for 1 3-point, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 5 defensive rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 4 personal fouls, and 8 points? Ben, who would your point guard be that you would have wanted to kept last year?
How many minutes was the first person's stat line?
Yeah, 14.
Mm-hmm.
You get where I'm going with this, and you know exactly.
I know exactly what you're doing. You're comparing Avery Johnson Jr. to Justin Coleman.
Right. We let Justin Coleman leave Tuscaloosa.
Justin Coleman, who's starting for Arizona. So Justin Coleman's going to have
Birmingham.
He's going to have a much better stat line. He's going to have a much better stat line than Avery Johnson Jr., who's coming off the bench. Now, do you want to compare Justin Coleman to Kyra Lewis? Do you want to make that comparison? Because that's starting point guard to starting point guard. Do you want to make that comparison? Or do you want to compare apples to oranges?
At this thing, Kyra Lewis would be the 2. Justin Coleman would play the 1 if he was still at Alabama.
If Justin Coleman was at Alabama, he would not be starting over Kyra Lewis. And he wasn't going to get playing time last year with Colin Sexton. He's not gone because Avery Johnson Jr. is there. He's gone because Colin Sexton has been there and Kyra Lewis is there.
Well, I still say that we didn't keep the talent we had at Alabama, and that's Avery's fault for bringing his son, who is not a great talent, on this team. Avery Johnson Jr. is a great coach on the bench, but he is not a great player on the floor. We could have used that roster spot for somebody like a Justin Coleman, not Avery Jr. Preach it.
So if you had a guard coming off the bench, would you rather have somebody that played 14 minutes and made 1 field goal or 32 minutes and made 1 field goal, Dave?
32 minutes and made
so
more
you'd rather
than
have John
field
Petty.
goal.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave, you're gonna make orange juice. Would you rather use an orange or an apple?
I see what you're doing. It doesn't work, Benjamin.
Exactly. Apples don't work when you're making orange juice.
But when you get to the bottom and you got nothing left, you mix it together. I think that's where we are right now with Dave's faith in the basketball team.
Exactly where we're at. Ben, you made the point to say after the game, hey, the next game, Dave, you and I are going to watch it together. I need you to yell loud. And what was my response? Oh, I'll yell loud. Fire Avery. Fire Avery.
So Dave's gonna take a ticket from me to go to the Liberty game where Alabama's playing Liberty in Huntsville, and Dave's gonna get there and heckle Avery Johnson. That's what we've just heard.
Dave, if you get the crowd to chant something about hiring Hoiberg,
hire Hoiberg.
They're like, who is that guy talking about?
Please tell me the seats are behind the bench this year, Ben, and not the same place they were last year.
The seats are fairly close to the floor. I believe we are actually on the same side as the team benches, but there's no way to know exactly how things are configured. But I will.
So much fun.
I can always offer your ticket to somebody else if you're not going to be a Bama fan.
I will be a Bama fan, I will be a Bama fan that's realistic. All right.
So allow me like 60 seconds to accentuate the positive as I am wont to do with Alabama basketball. It is the middle of December. There have been some ups and downs with this team, but obviously we can say Kyra Lewis is a bright spot on this team. He's had 4, 5, 20-plus point games this season. So surprisingly, the 17-year-old has been able to be accountable and play way more minutes than I would have thought just based on his age, and emerging as a consistent scorer for us is Alex Reese. I did not think we'd be saying that at this point in the season. I thought we might see an improved Alex Reese. I didn't think we'd see him this much improved, and not just on scoring, but also he had a ton of rebounds in the Arizona game. So just really impressive effort from him. also in the last 2 games, you've seen the emergence of Tevin Mack scoring more because he's starting and he's getting more minutes. I think the key for Alabama going forward, the changes they need to make to improve on this season, are to give those 3 guys more playing time and double down on them and rely on those guys to start carrying the team.
So would it be fair to say that this last couple of weeks has been a return of the Mac?
Yes, I would say so.
Anybody? 90s song?
Yes, we're aware. So okay. I think that's the key. These guys have been a little bit more reliable and a little bit more consistent. So when you look at the team stats for the night and you say, all right, Alabama's not having a good shooting night, you need to double down on these guys that have been more reliable and more consistent, and that will help elevate the team's reliability and the team's consistency. I think that's going to be the key going forward. Hopefully that change will be something we see in the Liberty game, but you never know. But that's where I think there's a cause for optimism. I think those are the kind of changes Alabama's got to make to move this team forward and elevate their game.
Okay. Well, you're optimistic about basketball. That's always going to be your opinion. I understand. Adam and I, not so much. But something that we can all be optimistic about, it's December. It's cold outside. How do you want to warm up in December when it's cold outside? You get that hot stove conversation going. Winter meetings are taking place. I believe they're down in Adam's neck of the woods in Tampa, aren't they?
They're in Las Vegas.
It's too cold, my brain's not.
They're in Vegas.
Okay. It's just a short hop, skip, and a jump.
Okay, just Vegas.
It's in the suburbs of Tampa, a little place called Las Vegas.
Okay, but still,
Junction, Las Vegas.
Howie in the Hill. Winter meetings going on in Las Vegas. Have you seen anything coming out of Las Vegas that have, I don't know, brought your attention? Kind of talked to you about what the Braves are doing? I saw something today that really shocked me. That wasn't about the Braves or any of the teams I follow. Toronto has just cut Troy Tulowitzki, whose contract is guaranteed until 2020 for $38 million. So whoever signs Tulu this offseason just has to pay him the league minimum, and he's still going to make $38 million thanks to the Blue Jays.
I did think that was a pretty extraordinary move for the Blue Jays to make. Clearly they don't have Alex Anthopoulos in charge.
Clearly they don't. But I'll tell you, that was something that they don't have. But I don't think Alex Anthopoulos is going to make a jump in this off season, or in this, at least in this winter meetings, because everything I've read has said that they're pretty much going to sit quiet.
Well, we're NL East guys, and so that's where a lot of our attention's going to be. But in spite of that, I think the 3 most interesting things that have happened so far as hot stove rumors, have actually all been related to teams in the NL East. So yeah, you're right. You're right, Dave. I don't think we're going to see the Braves make a lot of moves right now. Some of the things I've seen, Alex Anthopoulos likes to make his moves before the winter meetings and after the winter meetings. He doesn't like to make them in the heat of the moment at the winter meetings. So he may, start some conversations, but I don't think you should look for the Braves to have too much happening this week. Despite a lot of rumors that the Braves, people were saying that the Braves were putting some of their major league starting talent on the trade block. None of that seems to be the case right now. That's not to say that it couldn't happen down the road, but I don't think in the next couple of days, as the winter meetings are wrapping up, are we going to see any kind of moves like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like you said, the major league talent. I saw somewhere that Ender Inciarte is being looked at hard by the Reds. Great, but who do the Reds have to give Atlanta? Scooter Gennett, maybe? I don't want him.
Yeah. Well, the Reds are making a move at Puig too. They're going after some big names.
So maybe if you had some sort of scenario where you had Scooter Gennett come, you could put him at second and move Albies to short, and then somehow platoon Dansby Swanson, or somehow trade Swanson, something like that.
No.
Look, I like Dansby. There's a lot of people that like Dansby, but there's some Braves fans that are kind of bearish on how Dansby Swanson's panned out. I think there's just been a lot of pressure on the guy. I think he's going to be a good shortstop for the Braves. But if you're looking for a way to work in something from the Reds, that might be how you do it.
Those are probably the same guys that said that Nick Markakis is a failure and that John Petty was a failure in basketball.
Who would say something like that?
I have no idea.
So
I bet it would be golden voice if they did say it. So let me ask you guys, after hearing what you've heard, where do you think Bryce Harper's going to land if you had to put money on it?
So I've got 3 teams. I think it's either L.A., I think it's either the White Sox or the Phillies.
Yeah.
And the only team I'm okay with that being is the White Sox. Because I don't want to see that arrogant anywhere at all unless we have to play them in the American League or in the World Series.
Yeah,
if he's not going to be in a Braves uniform, I don't care.
Yeah, I think the Phillies are probably the front runner. The Dodgers look like they are trying to free something up to make a move like that. I wouldn't mind that, being a closet Dodgers fan. But that's what it feels like to me. I think they're in the running for him for sure.
Part of me would actually really like the Dodgers to sign Harper, because at that point they would actually have to dump some of their other talent in other places, and those would be teams that players that the Braves might be interested in. Mm-hmm. So you could actually pull some of those guys that have the experience of being in a couple of World Series with the Dodgers, but want to win and want to be a better team. So I think Harper could actually shake things up in the National League just by joining the Dodgers. So I think that's kind of interesting. The White Sox are also heavily rumored for Manny Machado. It's hard to imagine a scenario where they get Harper and Machado, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see that, because I don't think the White Sox have the money that somewhere like Philly or LA have. So now you have to also remember, Harper is a Las Vegas boy. What's only a couple hours away from Las Vegas? Los Angeles. So that's pretty much going home for Harper.
Yeah, but the Phillies just picked up McCutchen too, right?
Yeah, the Phillies just picked up McCutchen, but they're probably going to just use him as a platoon man. Yeah. He's not going to be an everyday guy.
I think the biggest thing about the Phillies picking up McCutchen, they signed him to a 3-year deal. I'm not sure. I like Andrew McCutchen a lot. I just don't know that he's got 3 more years left in him. It was not for cheap either. I believe it was 3 years, 30-something million.
Oh, yeah.
Did I make 50. That up? 3 years, 50 million. The Phillies are just. When I saw that, I was just like, that's fantastic, because if the Phillies are going to do that, they're going to make a lot of other dumb moves too, and not spend wisely. Which, if you're a Braves fan like we are, that's what you kind of want to see. You don't want to see the Phillies sign talent and get better, but you do want to see them spend a lot of money that's not going to help them in the long run.
Yeah, right.
And that's really the contrast between the Braves and the Phillies right now.
So one thing I did see that I liked is that the Rangers have been coming to Atlanta and trying to get some starting pitchers, some major league starting pitchers. Great. We'll give you somebody like Gahara. Give us Gallo, because I've seen that they're shopping Gallo. That's really the only outfielder that I would take from the Rangers. I don't like any of the other outfielders from the Rangers, unless you give us Delino DeShields, because that would be great to have that speed there. DeShields Jr., I saw that smirk. He's got a son that's playing. So
I agree. I agree. I think Gallo and or DeShields would both be pretty great.
They're also saying that maybe Sin-Shu Chu. I don't like saying his name because I can't say it very well. I don't want him in the Braves uniform.
I'm really hoping that's who the Braves sign. That's who the Braves bring in, because just to hear Dave have to butcher that name on a regular basis.
Sin-Shu Chu. Sin-Shu Chu. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Anything else y'all want to talk about?
Yes.
Okay.
I said the 3 most interesting things were in the National League East. So we mentioned the Braves and the Phillies. The third most interesting thing is that the Mets are trying to get JT Realmuto.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I just read this article 5 minutes ago. That has fizzled.
Good. I think it's absurd. I think the Mets are amazing at making terrible moves. And if the Mets successfully put Realmuto together with DeGrom and Syndergaard, that would be pretty amazing, but then they would literally have nothing else going for them, and it would be a waste of talent and money to put 3 stars like that on a team and then not have anything else going. Or in some of the scenarios, they were going to trade Syndergaard to get Real Muto, which is absolutely stupid too. There was no way that was going to make any sense, and so I'm glad to hear that it's fizzled, but I also just thought it was interesting. I really think the Mets should be selling right now. They should be shopping DeGrom and Syndergaard and just admit that the experiment was a good push, but it just didn't get them all the way there, and they need to let DeGrom and Syndergaard move on to other teams and completely rebuild. But apparently the Mets think they're really close.
So what I was reading, the Mets were going to give Syndergaard, Brandon Nimmo, and Ahmad Rosario. Syndergaard was going to go to the Yankees. Nimmo and Rosario were going to go to the Marlins, and the Yankees were also going to send Miguel Andujar to the Marlins. I don't know who the Yankees were going to get in the situation. Well, Syndergaard, and then JT Realmuto was going to go to the Mets. That just all seems just a cluster, if you ask me. The Marlins would be getting the best of everything. If they were going to get Nimmo, Rosario, and Andujar, that was going to be a great pickup for the Marlins. And so I kind of feel sorry to see the Marlins kind of fizzle out of that.
I do feel like Nimmo should be at the ballpark where they have a fish tank.
So they could find Nimmo?
Yes, that's
Okay.
What's wrong, Adam? Are my puns making you a little green behind the gills?
Something else you don't have to go finding is the space to put all your phone and running gear when you use our good sponsor, Roo Sport. Adam, are you green behind the gills, or can you talk about Roo Sport a little bit?
I can talk about Roo Sport all day, man. What do you want to hear? I mean, with all these puns, it's like I feel like I should. How do you follow that?
Yeah, tell
how do you follow that?
Tell our loyal and awesome listeners how great Roo Sport is. I mean, they've heard us talk about it every week, but go ahead, let's go on that spiel again.
No, it's fantastic, man. I'm still stuck on that pun. I'm trying to. My brain is trying to work on something great, and I can't. So I'll just tell you straight up that we continue to train. Me and Dave and Ben were all chatting before and talking about how it's hard to get those runs in. Life gets in the way. Dave's kids have the flu.
Yeah, they do.
You're up late with kids, and you got work going on, and you podcast. You record until midnight Eastern time, and so you have all this stuff that life just happens. But at least it's one less thing, and we've talked about this before, but it's one less thing you have to worry about. You know, you can just lay it out. It's going to hold everything you need. You don't have to worry about forgetting anything. You can prep it ahead of time, pack it full of everything you need, slap it on with the magnets on your waistband, and off you go. And that's one of the things I love about running is there's a lot of sports out there that you can do that require either a special place to do it, special equipment. Running, you just grab something like a Roo Sport, a comfortable pair of shoes, the right running clothes, and you're out the door. It's something that's easy to prep for, and it's a good hobby that's good for you and just really easy to take up. So I think Roo Sport fits really well in that kind of simplistic model that makes running such an attractive hobby.
Yeah, and it's really easy to go get them there. Just go to www.theroosport.com, and they're really inexpensive to begin with. But the cool thing that they've done for us is they are giving the Sideline Warning listeners a special code, Sideline 30, all lowercase. They'll give you 30% off your entire order. We've said this before. They've got more than just the running pouches. They've got those Roo loungers. They've got the little battery packs. They've got a bunch of stuff on there. Just go give them a try. theroosport.com, Sideline 30. It's awesome. You won't regret it. And like I said a couple weeks ago, I think Ben's going to even do a 5K now because he's got his Roo Sport.
I am ready to run.
Ready.
And by ready to run, to run, I am not ready to run. The only thing that makes me ready to run is that I have a Roo Sport. So I've got to get to working on the conditioning because I find so many uses outside of running for my Roo Sport that I'm really excited now that I can actually be a runner like you guys and use the Roo Sport as well in that area.
So you're not ready to run. All you want to do is have some fun.
I do want to have some fun. That's why I don't run a lot. But I have so many fun activities I do where a Roo Sport is handy. So there we go.
Adam, is there any way to mute his mic, Ben?
No, there's no turning it off. And he always does it while I'm talking, so I can't even edit him out.
That's the point, gentlemen. All right. Last week we made a big deal about it. It's time. It's the main event.
It is time.
All right,
it's
gentlemen.
Bowl extravaganza. So, Ben, before we get into this, let's tell our listeners how they can join us in Bowl extravaganza. The Phenomenal Brothers set up our ESPN Bowl Pickem on ESPN, of all places. And it's Sideline Warning 2018. Use the passcode SWTheShow. You have until December 15th to get into this league. Get in there. We are doing it the hard way on ESPN. It's confidence points. This week, when you listen to us, we're not going to tell you our confidence points. But if you want to know our confidence points, join in the league. ESPN.com was a Capital One Bowl Pick'em Challenge. Search for the
Capital
group.
One Bowl Mania.
Yeah, Bowl Mania. Search for the group Sideline Warning 2018. Not just Sideline Warning, because you'll find last year's league. Sideline Warning 2018. The password is SWTheShow. And for some reason, Adam put the motto of the group, Let's Beat Dave.
I think it's a great motto. I think it's a great motto. I see nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, Ben, we've got 41 picks to go. Let's get into it.
Let's go. Starting off this Saturday, December 15th, and it's noon. It's these times I'm looking at, I believe, are all Eastern because I'm on an ESPN website. So we're going to say these are all Eastern time. So you got to have your picks in by 11 a.m. this Saturday. And look, it's confidence picks. We already said that. If you don't put in confidence picks, it'll automatically just assign the games. The closer they get to the end of bowl season, it'll just give them more points. But don't be that guy. Go in there and select the games and give them real confidence points. That adds an element of strategy to the game. And so don't be that guy that waits till like 10:50 to put your picks in, and then you forgot to move all your stuff around. Go take plenty of time and get it set up. Okay.
My wife has already joined the league, and she said she's not doing confidence points.
Amanda, we need you. Amanda, we need you to put your confidence in the right places.
Okay. Yeah, that'll happen.
All right. Well, I've made my plea, and so I know, Amanda, you're listening to the podcast. We appreciate you supporting me and Adam, and then occasionally supporting Dave in this endeavor.
Hey.
Amanda, listen. We know you're in the car right now, listening to this, driving somewhere with Dave. We've saved you from the rap and the singing. You owe us one because you're listening to this and not music that Dave sings along to. So confidence points now.
There you go.
That argument is airtight.
That is airtight.
Let's get to the picks. As I said, when I'm calling out these times, I'm calling out Eastern time, unless I say otherwise. Okay. So the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl. That's a celebration bowl sponsored by the Air Force Reserve, as opposed to a reserve celebration sponsored by the Air Force. That is Saturday, December 15th. It faces off two traditional powers, North Carolina A&T Aggies versus the Alcorn State Braves.
I'm going with my first upset of the bowl pick'ems. I got the Alcorn State Braves.
Wow. You sound pretty confident in that, Dave. I'm going with the Aggies. Alcorn State lost to Alabama State, and I can't pick a team that lost to Alabama State.
If this was basketball, I'd be picking North Carolina A&T, but it's not. It's a football game. I am going with Alcorn State. Shout out to my buddy Robert Harris, who is a big fan of Alcorn State. Thanks for listening to the show. All right. Moving on, Saturday, December 15th. Things just bust wide open on December 15th. There is so many games. The Auto Nation Cure Bowl, Saturday, December 15th. It's the Tulane Green Wave taking on the Louisiana Raging Cajuns.
I have to find it in my picks right now. Scrolling.
Control F. Control F.
This is what I was afraid of.
No. I have the Raging Cajuns winning this one.
So you and me agree that the Cajuns gonna rage. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Louisiana as well. Oh, come on.
No,
that was quality comedy.
I also picked the Raging Cajuns despite really wanting to pick Tulane based on them having the Angry Wave logo. I think just having that great logo should be all the reason they need to win. But I picked Louisiana along with you guys. If you hear Dave talking about scrolling, dear listener, it's because he has already applied his confidence points, and now all of his list is out of order. It's rearranged the list of the games. I'm trying to keep it chronological. And with that said, we have the New Mexico Bowl, the Gildan New Mexico Bowl. We're going to have Blake Shelton come in there and try to sell you some underwear, some Gildan. He always has to Gildan. The New Mexico Bowl, Saturday, December 15th, 2 p.m. Eastern. Utah State Aggies, 10-2 on the season, taking on the North Texas Mean Green.
The only thing I know about the Mean Green is that it's the home of Joe Green and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I've got Utah State Aggies in a rout.
Yeah, I've got Utah State Aggies, and I'm not going to go into any detail, but this is actually one of my higher confidence picks.
It's one of mine, too.
Yeah.
At one point in the season, Utah State was averaging 50 points a game. I think that's still relatively true at this point in the season. But Utah State's head coach is headed to Texas Tech. So maybe that could shake things up. While it might, I think Utah State's the more talented team, and I am taking the Aggies as well as you guys. Next up, this one should be interesting. The Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl, happening in the same city where the MLB winter meetings are happening right now. It's the
Tampa?
Yes, Tampa. The Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl, coming to you live from Tampa, Florida, will feature the Arizona State Sun Devils versus the Fresno State Bulldogs.
I'm going with the slight upset here, and I've got Herm Edwards and the Arizona State Sun Devils winning this.
And this is why we're going confidence points, so me and Dave can still agree, yet still have a different outcome. I've got Arizona State also.
I'm worried that we're not going to have enough separation even with confidence points, but I'm going with Herm here. I'm trusting Herm to get the job done. This seems like one of those games where they will be fired up and ready to go. So I will take the Sun Devils as well. All right. After that, we have a game a little bit closer to home, closer to our listening base. It's the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl. That one's in Montgomery, taking place in the old Crampton Bowl, I do believe.
It is.
It'll be the Georgia Southern Eagles taking on the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Which Eagles do you guys pick for this game?
I got Georgia Southern winning this. They're just the better team.
There you go.
And they're home, closer to home.
Crampton Bowl site of my first football game I ever went to as a child. Oh, memories. I have Georgia Southern on this one as well.
I got to go with Georgia Southern. I think it's going to be like a near home game for them. Eastern Michigan's not going to travel for this. Georgia Southern's the better team anyway. So those are the Eagles I will take. All right. Next up, still Saturday, December 15th, it is the nightcap, the 9 p.m. Eastern time game. It's the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. It's Middle Tennessee, who's 8-5 on the season, taking on Appalachian State, who's 10-2.
While it's going to be cold in Appalachian State this weekend, the Mountaineers will make it hot in the Superdome. The Mountaineers win this one and send the Blue Raiders home crying.
Yeah, I've got App State too. Low confidence.
Oh, and for those that are wondering, that is my 41-point confidence in this one.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Bold move, Dave. I'm going to go with Middle Tennessee.
Appy State is 10-2. Middle Tennessee is
8-5.
What is that? 8-5.
Any given Saturday.
But which conference have they played in?
Definitely, yeah. Okay. CUSA, come on.
Versus the Sun Belt. That's where App State is, right?
Right. Has Middle Tennessee ever beat Michigan?
That was years ago. That was what, 10 years ago? Come
10
on,
years
Dave.
ago this year.
Come on.
Seriously? Oh my God, we're so old.
I'm taking Middle Tennessee.
All right.
Okay.
Next.
Speaking of Conference USA, it's the Cheribundi Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 18th. Primetime, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's the UAB Blazers versus Northern Illinois. UAB is 10-3, having their first 10-win season ever, and the Conference USA title, which I believe is for the first time. Yeah, for the first time ever. taking on Northern Illinois, who's 8-5. They are the conference champions of the MAC. Which conference champion will come out on top in the Cheribundi Boca Raton Bowl?
This will not be the return of the MAC. I've got UAB winning this one, and they will be 11-3.
Yeah, I have UAB as well. Yep, UAB.
UAB.
I'm super worried that we're in agreement on so many things. Got to go here and say go Blazers. All right. It is the DXL Frisco Bowl. Wednesday, December 19th. It's the San Diego State Aztecs taking on the Ohio Bobcats. San Diego State is 7-5. Ohio is 8-4.
I've got Ohio winning this one. Nope, no reason. Ohio.
Me too. For no reason.
Ohio's got the better record here, guys, but I think San Diego State is the faster team, and I think that's going to pay off dividends in a game like this. So I am going to differ from you guys and take the Aztecs.
All right.
Cool.
There we go. Here is just the one of my favorite bowl names. For years, I've celebrated what used to be the Poulon Weed Eater Bowl in Shreveport, but now the best name in bowl games is the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. This is in Tampa. Right. This actually is something that's happening in Tampa.
So because it's in Tampa, go ahead, read the teams.
I was going to say, it features the Marshall Thundering Herd versus the South Florida Bulls. Marshall's 8-4, South Florida's 7-5.
Hey, where does South Florida play their home games, Adam?
Tampa.
Where's this bowl game at?
Tampa.
So who am I picking? South
Florida.
Yeah.
I'm actually going with Marshall. South Florida went on a very hard slide at the end of the season. I don't think they'll get it back in time for the bowl game.
Dave, I'm going to actually say you're right on this one. South Florida is the way to go. Say
that again.
Picking in the no, I said it enough. In the Gasparilla Bowl.
That's going in the best of show, isn't it, Dave?
It will go. That's my favorite moment.
Not if I'm producing. Not if I'm producing. Next up, Friday, December 21st. It's the Makers Wanted. I don't even where are these names? Bahamas Bowl.
Does that have something to do with Maker's Mark?
I don't think so. I think it's something else. I think it's is it like an Etsy where you make your stuff?
I don't know.
And so that's what we're going to say it is. It's like an Etsy.
Okay.
And it's the Bahamas Bowl. I liked it better when the Bahamas Bowl was brought to you by Popeyes. I just thought that it was just a more direct sponsor. I know what Popeyes is, and fried chicken and football go together. Okay, it's Florida International taking on Toledo in the Bahamas. Who do you guys pick?
I got the Rockets.
I do not. So there's some separation starting here now.
There you go. For those wondering, Makers Wanted Elk Grove Village. The website is www.makerswanted.org. Elk Grove Village, Illinois.
It's home to the largest industrial park in the United States. Thanks, Google.
Okay, so who are you guys picking?
I think
we both said Toledo.
Both of you guys said Toledo?
FIU.
Okay.
No, I said FIU.
Oh, you said FIU. Good pick. Because which of these schools is closer to the Bahamas? Florida International. What is the Bahamas? It would be an international place. Who's best suited to win that? Florida International.
Oh, gosh.
There you go. It's that simple. It really is.
I love the logic.
See, anybody can make picks for bowl games. It's that simple. Next up, one of my all-time favorite bowl names, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, featuring Western Michigan versus BYU. The Broncos are 7-5. The Cougars have snuck into bowl season at 6-6.
I'm going to go BYU with this one. I just think BYU is a better team. They're closer. I got BYU.
I got BYU too. Again, on this one, low confidence though.
Guys, I'm going to have to go with Western Michigan. I just feel like for some reason Western Michigan does well in bowl games, or at least I'm projecting that. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. Next up, our next bowl takes place on Saturday, December 22nd. It's a noon Eastern kickoff. It's really close for me. It's the Birmingham Bowl, featuring Memphis Tigers versus the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Memphis is 8-5 on the season, and Wake Forest sneaks into bowl season at 6-6. Who do you guys take in this game?
Memphis just lost their offensive coordinator to go and coach on the Plains and be called the offensive coordinator, but not really take offensive coordinator play calling duty. Besides that point, I've got Memphis winning this game. Memphis is a good team. Wake Forest is not.
Yeah, I agree. This high confidence for me. I've got Memphis. They'd be 10-3 if it wasn't for that pesky UCF team.
Yep. I am going to go with Memphis. Yeah, I think the Tigers are definitely the better team here. It's one of those cases where you can be in a lesser conference and be better than a Power 5 team. So I'll go with the Tigers. Next up, it's the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. It's Houston versus Army. Army's 10-2 on the season. This is one of the most impressive Army football seasons in a long time. Houston maybe underachieved a little bit at 8-4. Who are you guys going to take in this game?
I think I'm going to differ from most of the country, and I'm taking Houston on this one. Even though Ed Oliver's not playing, I think Houston's firepower is going to be a little bit better than Army's firepower. I got Houston winning this.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Army in this one at first glance, just because, again, the explosiveness, the types of plays they're going to generate with the offense they run. But I'm also not impressed with Houston, so I'm actually going to go with the flow here and say Army.
I'm going to go with Houston. I think they're going to be able to be bigger, faster, and more physical. So for that reason, I will take the Cougs to win in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Next up, it's the Dollar General Bowl on Saturday, December 22nd, pitting Buffalo versus Troy. Is the Dollar General Bowl, is this a discount bowl? Is this going to be a more affordable bowl just by being the Dollar General Bowl?
Let me ask you this: will there be a Dollar General Bowl on every street corner?
Potentially,
because there's a Dollar General pretty much on every street corner.
Sometimes I eat my cereal out of a Dollar General bowl.
I do too. This is going to be a homer pick, Troy. It's definitely a homer pick, and I know that because Buffalo's probably going to be favored, and Buffalo has a good chance of winning this game. But Troy's going to, in my mind, Troy wins.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of my Bama Orlando folks that are going to be unhappy with me, but I'm going with Buffalo on this one.
Why will your Bama Orlando folks be mad?
There's some Troy folks.
Okay.
The game's at Lad Peebles Stadium in Mobile. I actually think that means Troy's going to have the shorter distance to travel. The fan base is going to be there. There's lots of Troy grads in South Alabama, especially Southwest Alabama. I think that is beneficial. I'm going to pick Troy. I do agree Buffalo should have some advantages, but nothing's like playing a home game at the end of the season, so I'm going to go with Troy. Next up, it's the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. It's Hawaii taking on La Tech.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to pick against the Rainbow Warriors on their home turf?
I'm going to pick Jeff Gordon.
Throwback. I love it. That was his good years, too. I miss those days. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Hawaii on this one, too.
I don't miss those days.
I am going to go with La Tech. I am taking the Bulldogs.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
All right.
Yes, they're going to show out, and Hawaii's had, they're 8-5. I think that's a little misleading, and they're not going to be ready to play with La Tech.
All right.
Next up, it's the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. So salute and tip of the hat to our first responders who are out there, doing so much to keep us safe and healthy and taken care of. It's Wednesday, December 26th. It's Boston College taking on number 25 Boise State. Boise's 10-3. Boston College is 7-5. Who do you guys like?
I believe this is our first ranked team that we picked.
Yes.
And I think that first-ranked team is going to win. I got Boise State winning this one.
Yeah, I can't pick a team that lost to Florida State, so I'm going with Boise State.
I'm going to take Boise State. I will go with the Broncos there in the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. Next up, it's the Quick Lane Bowl, Wednesday, December 26th. It's the Minnesota Golden Gophers taking on Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, who are currently without a head coach. I know they've got a new one coming in, but Paul Johnson retiring.
I think Georgia Tech.
I guess he may coach this game, right?
Yeah, he'll coach the bowl game. That's why I've got Georgia Tech winning on a high note, going out on a high note and taking Paul Johnson to victory.
Yeah, that'd be great. But I've got the Golden Gophers picking up the yellow. Why aren't they wearing yellow jackets? So yeah. Anyway,
Don't you know?
I would love to see Paul Johnson go out on a high note, but as you guys know, I am a huge PJ Fleck fan, and I think if he's got a month to get his team ready, they are going to be prepared to handle Georgia Tech. So I'm picking Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Next up is a bowl I want. It's the Cheez-It Bowl. As the nightcap on Wednesday, December 26th. It's Cal taking on TCU. This one's kind of interesting because I kind of feel like this is more of a toss-up than some of these other games.
It is, and I put some time into this one, and I've got TCU winning this.
Yeah, I did too. I think Cal's going to pull it out, though.
Okay.
In a close one.
Every time I've tried to count Cal out this season, they have managed to overperform. So I'm gonna think that Cal's got something going for them, and I'll take the Golden Bears to win in the Cheez-It Bowl. Next up, here's another delicious bowl game. It's the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. One of my favorites.
No.
What?
It's the Poulon Weed Eater Bowl.
It's still the Poulon Weed Eater Bowl in our hearts.
It's still the Poulon Weed Eater Bowl to me, dadgummit.
In our hearts, it's the Poulon Weed Eater Bowl. In our stomachs, it's definitely the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl because I'm a big fan of the Walk-Ons restaurants and can't wait for the Alabama ones to open soon. It's Thursday, December 27th. It pits Temple versus Duke. The Owls are 8-4. The Blue Devils are 7-5. Who do you guys like here?
So Thursday, December 27th, you know what I will not be watching because this bowl game just makes me yawn thinking about it? I've got Temple winning, but I probably will not be watching this game.
Yeah, I agree with both of those statements, Dave.
Wait, what else? What else are you going to watch?
I will find something to watch.
Oh, you're watching this game. Come on.
No.
Do it. I dare you.
I'll watch my daughter's Elf just sit there before I watch this game. No, she'll be home by then.
Yeah, she'll be back at the North Pole.
Yeah, she will.
Adam, did you get your pick?
Oh yeah, I've got Temple also.
Both of you guys have got Temple. I'm going to go with Duke because why pick against a Cutcliffe offense in a matchup like this?
All right.
Okay.
Next up, it's the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Fortunately, Notre Dame is not in that bowl game, and they won't be wearing their pinstripe uniforms. It's going to pit Miami versus Wisconsin. The Hurricanes are 7-5. The Badgers are also 7-5. These are the teams that should have been in the top 10 and could have potentially been in the college football playoff, but instead are both 7-5. It's the Underperformance Bowl.
I was going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. This is the we could have been contenders match. This is actually one of my favorite games because I love seeing the bowl game played in Yankee Stadium. It's just, I don't know, it'd be fun to see a game played in Wrigley Field again too. I've got Miami winning this. Although looking at it, I think, you know what? I'm changing my pick. I'm going Wisconsin because it's going to be cold. It's going to be snowy. I've got Wisconsin winning this. They know how to play in that kind of weather.
You didn't change it because I rolled my eyes at you?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't even see you do that.
Yeah, I have Miami, and I'm going to stay with Miami. I have been low on Wisconsin since the first college football episode we did, and I'm going to close out the season the same way. So I've got Miami.
I think if Mark Richt has a month to prepare, or almost a month to prepare, he can have his team ready. I'm going to go with Miami, and they'll finish the season on a strong note. Next up, it's the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl, featuring Baylor, a team from Texas who's 6-6, versus Vandy, a team from Nashville who's 6-6.
Let's be honest, Vandy's not winning a bowl game. I got Baylor.
Wow, I've got Vanderbilt.
This is very low confidence points, though.
Yes, it is.
It should be a home game for Baylor. That should really benefit them. But you know what? Sometimes just what I want to see is so much stronger than what I think is going to happen. And I really want to see Vandy win a bowl game. And I really want to see Vandy have a winning record here. I'm picking the Doors. It's happening.
Oh.
Vandy getting the win.
I might have to change some of these, given how the regular season played out.
Yeah,
we're not supposed to agree this much, Ben.
Well, the confidence points are where all the separation is, because I put all of my confidence points on Vandy.
Are you
well,
serious?
We're safe then. We're all safe.
We're definitely safe.
Or are we?
Okay.
Next up, it's Purdue versus Auburn in the Franklin American Mortgage City Music City Bowl. I added an extra city in there somewhere. Purdue 6-6. They started the season poorly. They beat Ohio State, and then they ended the season poorly. They're taking on Auburn, who seem to be in some sort of postseason disarray. But maybe if the Tigers have like a few weeks to put things together, they'll be ready, right?
Well, let me okay. So Purdue's coach turned down a better job to stay at Purdue. Auburn's people tried to fire their head coach because of that off-season scrutiny and postseason scrutiny and disarray. I got Purdue winning this. I mean, let's be honest. Did you see that going any other way?
No, I didn't. Auburn always disappoints me. When I want them to lose, they win, and when I want them to win, they lose. See last year's bowl game for notes. I actually have Auburn winning this one just because I want Purdue to win, and they always disappoint me in the bowl games.
I'm going with Purdue here. I think Purdue has finished the season on a much more consistent and much more positive note than Auburn has. I think the Boilermakers are trying to build for something, and I think Auburn may have some players that are a little checked out. So I'm going to go with Purdue. Hey, are you guys ready for some bowl games where ranked teams play ranked teams?
Sorry?
Is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah, that might be.
As previously discussed on the show, as discussed last week, it's the Camping World Bowl, Friday, December 28th. It's number 16 West Virginia taking on number 20 Syracuse. West Virginia is 8-3 on the season. Syracuse is 9-3 on the season. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
I'm going to have to change my confidence points on this because I did this before Will Grier said that he's sitting out. I still think West Virginia is going to win this game, but I think it's going to be harder than it would have been if Will Grier was there. So just for the last time, take me home, country road, to the place I belong. West Virginia's going to win here. And I'm done.
I just picture that cat with the cowboy hat on Facebook.
I did it for you, Ben.
Yep.
Adam, I did it for you, Adam.
Yep. I've got West Virginia here, too. Confidence points aside, because, yes, that is going to shift things around. I have West Virginia also, without a song.
Boo.
So the Camping World Bowl, as our good friend Mickey Boylan has pointed out, is in Orlando. And all I can kind of think of is Dana Holgerson being one of the pirates on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, preferably the one with like the big jug with 3 X's on it, sitting there kind of swinging his legs and sipping from the giant jug. I think it's a very pirate thing and a very West Virginia thing. That's all I can think about. West Virginia should win this game and win this game handily. They are the better team. Wait, Dave, did you say Will Grier's not playing?
Yeah, Will Grier's not playing.
I'm picking Syracuse. I'm changing my mind. Let's go with Cuse. Let's go Orange. Next up, We've got the Valero Alamo Bowl, pitting 2 ranked teams, number 24 Iowa State versus number 13 Washington State. The Cougars were down to the very end until they lost to Washington. They were in the hunt for the college football playoff. They finished at 10-2. Iowa State is 8-4. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
Let's be honest. Iowa State has no shot to win this game. The Pirates going to just blow them out of the water. Washington State Cougars kill in this.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty easily decided in the favor of Washington State. And it's funny because most of these ranked versus ranked matchups end up being higher confidence points for me because they're more obvious, I think. But that might be because we've seen these teams play more. But yeah, I got Washington State.
This is a prime opportunity for me to get a little separation from you guys. I am picking Iowa State here because I think they're going to be able to throw a more balanced team out there on the field than Washington State. They're going to be able to play a little bit on offense and defense. That's going to work to their advantage. I'm going to go with the Clones here.
Okay.
Silence from you guys. Nothing.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
All right, it is now time to start getting into some of the New Year's Six bowl games. The New Year's Six, of course, don't actually take place on New Year's. They take place on Saturday, December 29th. The first of which is a lunchtime game, 11 a.m., noon Eastern. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, number 10 Florida versus number 7 Michigan. The Gators are 9-3 on the season. Michigan is 10-2 on the season. Assuredly, the winner will be in the top 10. The loser will most likely be outside of the top 10. Who do you guys pick in this game?
Low confidence. Michigan winning this game.
Really? I'm a little bit more bullish, but I've got Michigan too.
Look, Michigan is the better team on paper, but you've got to look at the trajectory of the teams, where the momentum lies. Michigan is discouraged after getting trounced by Ohio State. There's guys questioning Harbaugh. There's questions about where Harbaugh is going to be. And Florida, they're on the upswing. They've done better than they've done the last couple of seasons. They're buying into Dan Mullen's plan, and Dan Mullen is focused, and he's got a month to work with the team. Florida is going to put the better, more well-rounded team on the field, if for no other reason than they've got more positive vibes going for them. Here's Florida. I'm taking the Gators. Next up, the Belk Bowl. Not one of the New Year's Six bowls, but easily the best bowl game Twitter account. If you're not following the Belk Bowl on Twitter, you are sorely missing out, so go follow that right now. It's kicking off at the same time as the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. It pits South Carolina versus Virginia. Both teams are 7-5. Who do you guys going to take?
Where's the Belk Bowl?
Charlotte.
Where's Carolina? Near there. So
what?
I got
Charlotte.
The Gamecocks
the game's in North Carolina, which is right in between Virginia and South Carolina. Dave, brief geography lesson. We're gonna withhold bowl picks until we get a map in front of Dave.
Florida. I've got South Carolina winning this one pretty handily. High confidence points.
Oh, man. Yeah, this one's middle of the road for me, but I'm going to break my own rule and pick Muschamp. He usually lets me down, but I got him on this one, so South Carolina.
South Carolina, they're ready to play. They're ready to be champions of the Belk Bowl. So there we go. I'm picking the Gamecocks as well. It is now time to pick the Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl. Why
is this one a...
What are these names?
And look at the kickoff time.
1:15 Eastern. Yeah. They just randomly picked a number. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get it in. They're trying to like thread a needle there in between the other New Year's Six bowls when they should have just scheduled it on another day. But also you just don't want like the word loans in your bowl. It just makes your bowl sound broke, even if a home loan could be a good thing.
Like the Franklin America Mortgage Music City Bowl?
Yeah.
Well, a mortgage is a little more positive connotation than a loan. That's what I'm thinking. A mortgage is like something you're buying into and building up. A loan is more like I'm in a bind. Help me out.
You better pay me back.
What's the prize pack for this one? You get a home loan?
I guess so. Yes.
It's subprime, but yes, you get one.
Arizona State Red Wolves and Nevada Wolfpack. So
the Arkansas State Red
sorry.
Wolves versus
Two wolves
the Nevada
playing
Wolfpack.
each other.
Yes.
But
one is a wolf pack. Does that make a difference?
No, I got Arkansas State winning this one.
Yeah, you know which wolf wins? The one you feed. Google it. I've got Arkansas State as well.
Okay.
I'm going to take Arkansas State as well. Hey,
wait, have you never seen Tomorrowland?
I have.
Thank you. Anyway.
Next up, we actually have one of the New Year's Six Bowls. It is one of the college football playoff bowls. It's a 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Central kickoff. It's the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, featuring number 3 Notre Dame and number 2 Clemson. Both teams are undefeated. It's the only bowl matchup between undefeated teams.
Very high confidence points. Clemson in a rout.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful, too. Clemson in a rout. Kelly at the end of the bowl is blaming all of his players. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah, I've got Clemson, too.
It's we've said for a while it's a foregone conclusion that Clemson would be there at the end of the year. Also, this is what gets the ball rolling on Urban Meyer to Notre Dame. When he's hired as the Notre Dame coach a year or two from now, everybody will point to this game, the Cotton Bowl Classic, when things started coming unraveled for Notre Dame. So got to go with Clemson here, picking the Tigers to win and win big. Also in the New Year's Six, how about the Capital One Orange Bowl? We're going to pick it in order. We're going to pick that in order. It's Oklahoma versus Alabama.
Do we need a score?
No, we're not going to do a score because we're going to come back the week. We're going to come back the week of the 29th, the last week in December. We're going to come back after Christmas, and we're going to actually pick the college football playoff. But just for the purposes of Bowl Mania, who's the winner here? I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah, Bama. Adam.
Yeah, Bama.
Adam was scarily quiet there for a moment. I will, of course, round that out and go with Alabama as well. Next, on December 31st, a Monday, we've got the Military Bowl, New Year's Eve. It's Cincinnati taking on Virginia Tech. The Bearcats, 10-2 on the season, versus Virginia Tech, who's 6-6. How do they get this matchup where a 10-win team is taking on a 6-6 team?
I have no idea, but let's not forget that Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion, so I have Cincinnati winning.
Yeah, I do too. And if Cincinnati wants to play in big bowls like their big brother UCF, then they need to join a big conference. That's how you end up with this matchup. But I have Cincinnati.
If you lose to Old Dominion and you're 6-6 on the season, if you don't have a clear winning season, you probably don't belong in a bowl game. Just saying. I'm going to pick Cincinnati here.
10-2 in the American Conference, but
hey, I'm still picking Cincinnati. They're the better team. They've proven they know how to win. Next up, it's the Hyundai Sun Bowl. Monday, December 31st, New Year's Eve. It's Stanford versus Pitt. Stanford's 8-4, a little bit of a disappointing season. Pitt 7-6 on the season. They actually played in the ACC title game. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
The Pac-12 might be horrible, but let's not forget Pitt is even worse. So I got Stanford winning this.
Yeah, Stanford winning this too. Yep.
I am in agreement. I think Stanford's going to play better defense, and that will make the difference. Next up, it's the Red Box Bowl. Is that like where you rent a DVD?
Yes.
How is that still a thing? And how is that sponsoring a bowl in 2018, about to be 2019?
I have no idea.
It's Michigan State versus Oregon. How the mighty have fallen. Michigan State 7-5, Oregon 8-4. Who do you guys like?
Let's just go ahead and call this the Saban Assistant Bowl because this is two former Saban assistants against each other. I've got Oregon winning this one.
Yeah, I do too. Quack, quack.
I'm going to go with Michigan State just to change it up. Because why not?
Of course you would.
Why not?
I love it.
Why not? Next, it's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Number 23, Missouri, taking on Mike Gundy's Mullet. Oklahoma State is 6-6. Mizzou finished the season at 8-4.
Yeah, they did, and they're ranked. Oklahoma State is not. I've got OK State winning this one, though, because Mizzou is just really not good.
Me too, man. We're going to be neck and neck.
Yeah, we are. It's going to come
State.
to confidence points.
Yep.
Mizzou is really not good, but Oklahoma State is really worse. I'm going to pick the Tigers to get the win in the Liberty Bowl. Next up, it's the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. Didn't this one used to be called the Poinsettia Bowl? Maybe?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, it did.
I like that name better. I thought it was a little bit more festive. It's moved all the way up. It used to be like the first bowl of the season. Now it's a New Year's Eve bowl, so kudos to them for moving up in the world. It's pitting two ranked teams against one another. It's number 22 Northwestern versus number 17 Utah. Northwestern had played for the Big Ten title. They're 8-5 on the season. Utah is 9-4 after playing for the Pac-12 title.
I got Utah winning this one. I think Utah is a better team here. Utah will win this.
Yeah, I've been pretty high on Northwestern here and there as we've had them available to pick. I'm going to pick them here too. So I've got the Wildcats.
I'm going to go with Utah. They're the more well-rounded team in my view. Next up, it's the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. NC State versus number 19 Texas A&M. It's a wonder they're able to get this bowl game in. I thought Texas A&M was still going to be playing LSU. NC State's 9-3 on the season. A&M is 8-4. Who do you guys like?
I got A&M winning this one in a rout.
Yeah, I've got pretty high confidence in that pick too. So A&M. And the only thing worse than having loan in your name is having tax and slay in the same name.
And didn't this used to be a New Year's Day bowl?
The Gator Bowl has always been somewhere in the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day realm. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, what happened to the Cactus Bowl? Where'd that go?
I don't know.
Is that the one they're calling the Arizona Bowl now?
I think so.
They should rename it the Cactus Bowl. That'd be better. Okay. For some reason, I always think of the Gator Bowl and the Cactus Bowl together, even though they're cross-country. Okay. Next up, it's the Outback Bowl. It's number 18 Mississippi State versus Iowa Hawkeyes, both teams are 8-4. Who do you guys like here?
I've got that history teacher in his first year at Mississippi State winning this one. Mississippi State.
Yeah, he passes his final exam. I've got Mississippi State here, too. I think they're stronger than Iowa.
Have you seen Mississippi State's front seven? Of course they're going to win this game. Picking the Bulldogs, I'm going to throw some high confidence points there. All right, it's the VRBO Citrus Bowl. You heard our friend Mickey Boylan talk a good bit about that last week. It's one of the most interesting matchups, I think, of the entire bowl season. It's number 14 Kentucky versus number 12 Penn State. Both teams 9-3. Are you guys going to pick Wildcats or Nittany Lions?
The Wildcats have been on a slide. Nittany Lions also, but I think the Nittany Lions are a better team. I'm going Penn State here.
Yeah, I'm really, really tempted to pick Kentucky, but I'm going to fall on the side of Penn State at the end of the day on this one.
I so badly want to see Kentucky have a 10-win season that I've got to go with the Wildcats here, and I can't let my emotions are just taking control of the picks. I'm going to go with the Wildcats. A good running back, as Penn State can tell you, can go a long way. But Benny and the Cats are going to get the job done in the Citrus Bowl. Next up, it's the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. The Fiesta Bowl is a bowl I've played many times on a PlayStation in NCAA football. It's one of the other most interesting matchups of bowl season. It's number 11, LSU, 9-3 on the season, taking on 12-0, number 8 in the land, UCF, the reigning national champions.
You will find me wearing purple and gold on January 1st. Hold them, Tigers. LSU wins this. Adam?
Take a guess.
Okay, you're taking LSU.
No.
What?
I'm going with the two-time national champion UCF Golden Knights on this one. Low confidence, but I'm going to go with UCF.
Did that hurt you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to make sure.
Don't you hear it?
Uh-huh.
I think it's time to go with UCF. They handled the SEC last year, and I think they could just do it again. I'm gonna pick the Knights until they get a loss somewhere. I'm going with UCF.
Oh, LSU, you have one job.
And just to think there was a time not that long ago when bars downtown were giving away free beer until UCF won.
I know.
And now we're on this podcast saying we're pick 'em till they lose. That's fantastic.
No, I didn't.
LSU,
All right, next. You have one job.
No, but really, who do you trust?
I know. I don't trust Ogeron.
You better believe it.
Next up, also on January 1st, another continuation of the New Year's Six, just like the Fiesta Bowl. This is the Rose Bowl game, brought to you by Urban Meyer's Health, featuring number 9 Washington, taking on number 6 Ohio State in the swan song of Urban Meyer. Who do you guys like for this matchup?
Let's be honest, Washington is not a good team. They limped into the top 10, and they limped into this Rose Bowl. Ohio State will go out big, sending Urban Meyer off with, roses.
Yep, this one's up towards the top of my list in terms of confidence. I've got Ohio State, too.
I'm going to have to pick the Buckeyes big as well. There's going to be so much emotion and so much Urban Meyer talk, I probably won't be able to watch it. Next up, on New Year's Day, it's the All-State Sugar Bowl, also in the New Year's Six, featuring number 15, Texas, versus number 5, Georgia. Who are you guys taking?
I'm going to take Georgia with pretty medium confidence points.
Yeah, I've got Georgia. They're going to come off of a letdown and beat Texas, but I think it's going to be hard for them to get into it and really make much of it. I think it's going to be close.
We're talking about an SEC defense versus a Big 12 defense, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
and it's in the Sugar Bowl where the SEC always plays and where you don't usually see Texas in the Sugar Bowl. Georgia fans looking for a good reason to go to New Orleans and be Georgia fans. I am going to take the Bulldogs handily. If you guys aren't going to put confidence points there, I'll be happy to put confidence points there. That one makes me happy.
All right.
Next up, it's the College Football Playoff National Championship. This is really a great bowl schedule this year because all of the bowl games except for the National Championship are done on January 1st. I really like how everything's gotten cleaned up. And for the College Football Playoff National Championship, I know we've all agreed, we've set it up as Clemson and Alabama. Let's not pick this one. I think we're not going to pick it because even what we say now could change, and everything. But we're going to come back before the college football playoff opening round, and we're going to actually go and pick and break down everything between the 4 teams. So we're going to leave the national championship off, but we'll be picking it here in a couple of weeks after we come off of our 2 holiday break special edition episodes.
All right.
So those are the picks. And I have one more thing I would like to do, if you guys will allow. I've texted you guys some instructions. Have you guys received those instructions?
We have.
We have.
Okay, I'm gonna intro this and then let you guys do your parts, and then I'll do mine. This is one of my favorite sports blogs. We like to always shout out blogs and writers and things of that nature that we like. One of my favorite sports blogs is Every Day Should Be Saturday. A few weeks ago, they did the Create Your Own Bowl Game, which gives you some instructions based on like the first letter of your name, pick this, based on the third letter of the town you grew up in, pick this. And essentially, it is a name generator for your very own bowl game. So, guys, have you generated your bowl game names?
Yes.
I have. Adam, let's go ahead and hear yours, because mine's not exactly that funny.
Mine is the Gorilla Glue Stick-to-Itiveness Bowl in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
All right. Mine is the Our Nation's Oat Producers. Third letter of your hometown, that's HUN. In Bowling Green, our Protein Bowl in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
So the Our Nation's Oat Producers Protein Bowl.
In
Sounds
Bowling
like breakfast.
I know, right?
Breakfast.
And as the joke, you always wind up playing Pitt based in every scenario. That's
right,
which I love. So for mine, it is the Gold Star Chili Chrysanthemum Bowl in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So Adam and I have both put 2 bowl games in Fort Wayne, Indiana, but I just love that you can find these random companies and put them with random cities and random bowl names, and it sounds like something that could be just as legitimate as anything we just picked.
And can I say really quick that I just did it in my head for Blair, my wife, and I would love to go to her bowl. It's the Gold Star Chili Protein Bowl in Destin, Florida. That sounds like a delightful experience all around.
Although I don't know of a place to play a bowl game in Destin, Florida.
We're not going for the game. We're going for the chili and the beach.
That's true.
We are going to share the link to Every Day Should Be Saturday to this their blog post. We're going to share that link on the Facebook page. We would love for you to comment and tell us what you came up with as your bowl name, just because we think this is kind of funny. So there we go. We've got our full bowl schedule. We even made up a few bowl games, and those are all the picks.
Yeah, we're not going to do a sideline warning this week. We actually have some homework for you, the listeners, to do. There are 2 things we want you to do. Join our Bowl Pickem League, and then after you've listened to this show, we want you to call in to the Blitz line, which, Adam, is
931-44-BLITZ.
So we want you to call 931-44-BLITZ and tell us 2 things. Over the past year, so the past 52 weeks that you have listened to Sideline Warning, we want to know what your favorite blooper is, and we want to know what your favorite segment of the show. It can be where I went off and yelled at Ben for basketball. It can be where I called Nick Markakis a failure. It can be where the city of Cleveland went off on Ben. I don't know if we've had any like memorable moments where Adam go, oh yes, we have. We've had tons of them where Adam goes off about Jalen Hurts. Where
I don't know if Adam's really done anything memorable on the podcast. Thank you, Dave.
Adam, the memorable part of you is you have brought on our great sponsors, Roo Sport, and you brought us our favorite guest, Mickey, from the Florida Citrus Sports.
There we go.
So there you go. That's our favorite part that Adam's done. So we want you to call the Blitz line. Tell us your favorite outtake or blooper, and also tell us your favorite segment of the show. And then just enjoy the next 2 weeks of best of shows. Ben will be editing, and he will be your host of those 2 shows. Adam and I we might call in and say, hey, we might give you a Blitz line from us. So there you go. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, do it on our Twitters. We're at SW The Show. He is at The Ben Foster. Adam is at Runtide Run. I am at DAdams419. You can find us on Instagram. We are also SW The Show. Join us on the Facebook fan group, Sideline Warning Facebook fan group. And then, guys, enjoy your Christmas. We will talk to you after Christmas. We'll talk to you before Alabama plays against Oklahoma, but let's be honest, we all know who's going to win that game. We say it every time after a show. We love you. We'll see you in 3 weeks live. And roll Tide.
Wait, what?
And then they go home at night to the North Pole to tell Santa how the kid's doing.
It's like Santa's hall monitor.
So the elf stays exactly where he is the entire time?
The entire day.
For the day, yeah.
Yeah, and then when they get back from the North Pole the next morning, they hide and do some mischievous stuff.
See, I thought it was like they were like running around the house at night.
No, they actually go to the North Pole and tell Santa how the kid was that day.
It's magic.
Like the other day, Belle was taking a bubble bath in marshmallows and had thrown M&Ms in her marshmallow bubble bath.